Still trying to get over the last segment.
Yeah. We took a turn. Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J. We're gonna get into our rants.
You can smooth that turn out.
We're gonna get into our rants. We're gonna get into our rants. We're gonna get into our closings and the show. And then first time in a few weeks, we had your main man Carlton Banks still with us towards the end of the show for the rant. So definitely time to ask him if it's unusual. Carlton Banks, what you got, man?
You know what? I'm looking at my phone and I got this beautiful picture of these ladies on my phone. And you ever notice how your wife see your phone or your girlfriend see your phone and they be wondering, why my picture not on your phone? I mean, there's nothing wrong with your picture not being on my phone. It's just like, I like looking at what I like looking at. Do I tell you what to put on your phone? I can't help it if you got that on your phone. You know, my wife sent me a picture of our 10-year pictures from my wedding 10 years ago. I want this as your screensaver. I'm not putting that as my screensaver. I like the picture I got. I don't get mad. I'm not going to sit there and tell you not to do stuff. It really amazes me how she can sit there and like who she likes, but if I show the least bit of interest in the first woman that's a star, oh boy, it's ready to fight. You know, I'm sitting there watching TV, watching Think Like a Man. She come up and say, you know what? Michael Ealy just made my list. I'm sitting here like, hold on, where did Michael Ealy come from? Then she tell me about Ray Lewis. I won't get to see Ray Lewis on Sundays anymore. I'm sitting here like, you know what? Ray Lewis won't sing you either. Gerald and Eddie Levert. I'm like, come on, really? Gerald and Eddie Levert. Then one time she told me how she met Boris Kojo or whoever the dude that went to VCU and it was Boris Kojo. Yeah, she met Boris Kojo and she just won't write ever since. I mean, she had something embarrassing going on with her at that time in her life, but you know, I can't count for it. But my thing is this: why I can't like who I like without getting an attitude. If I see a piece of eye candy, I'm going to respond. That ain't me. What do you mean that ain't you? I know it ain't you. That's why I said, don't get mad. It's talking about during the Super Bowl, Beyonce was on there. How they get her body on her, how they get that head on her body. Like, okay, I ain't gonna say much of anything else on that because then I gotta go home now. And if she listen, I'm a dead man. But oh well, I ain't scared. I'll tell you right now, I say that there's 3 beautiful women on my phone. You want to look at these beautiful women off? Beyonce, Janet, and Mary J. That's right. Okay, well maybe 2.5 beautiful women on my phone, but still, Mary okay. I know I got some looks for that, but I bet her hands softer than Auntie's were. I'm just saying. Oh my God. Hey Ruben, you really want to see her hands? You see that paper towel roll right there?
Stop.
I mean, man, I'm telling you, man, it's worse than sandpaper.
Stop.
I'm serious. The stuff, the sandpaper you start with to really grind stuff down. Not that fine grade, that first grade that you're supposed to use just to get everything, try to get everything smooth, and then you come behind it with the next one. That's probably her feet, to be honest. I ain't want to see them claws, talons, what she got. You know I'm going to look her up on Facebook, right? I might add her.
Hopefully she wasn't listening tonight.
She was. She. I'm gonna show her the tape.
That's your corner, man.
Yeah, that's my corner. I hope. You know what? I hope somebody got her hand paraffin wax machine over the last 15 to 16 years. For real.
Stop it.
She needed it.
Yo, that's crazy.
That's Carlton Banks with Carlton's Corner. We appreciate it, my brother. It's good to have you. Glad to be able to have that craziness that you just shared with us. I don't even know how to take any of that, but it's cool. Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J. It's time for Big Rube. It's time for the Smash. And what you got, my man?
It's Big Rube. It's Smash. You know, I am going to talk about something that we talked about today because I feel that is important. We talked about the fact that Jason Collins, the NBA basketball player, decided today to call, basically to let everybody know that he's homosexual. Once again, Big Rube has no issues with that. My only issue is it doesn't affect the way I live my life. So, it is what it is. However, one person in the media really just doesn't agree. Chris Broussard, one of the lead guys for ESPN, he didn't agree a couple years ago when he said it, and he doesn't agree now. And he says, quote, "I'm a Christian. I don't agree with homosexuality. I think it's a sin, and I think all sex outside of a marriage between a man and a woman is." Now, I think that everybody's entitled to their own opinion, first and foremost. Second, I don't really disagree and I don't agree with him. I think that he is basically using the Ten Commandments as a way to defend himself. And I can completely understand that. However, I feel like that people in the media, well, let's take this back, because technically I'm media as well. I feel like people in mainstream media, because I don't think I'm mainstream. I think I'm just a dude who has a microphone every Monday and gets to speak his piece. I think that they should have an opinion, and I also think that they also need to be respected as a person who has an opinion, and that's it. Do I think there's going to be any flashback by this? I would hope not by ESPN, because it's not like the dude one day said that I don't like gay people because of this, and the next day he said I love gay people. Then the next day he says I don't like gay people anymore. I mean, that's childish, and everybody has a right to their opinion. But my biggest issue is he has a nationwide audience to reflect his opinion upon. I am not really sure that is the appropriate media to do so. I do feel like, once again, he has an opinion and he should be able to voice his opinion. However, I feel like when he is on television doing his job, he should not be able to do so. Now, and I'm not saying voice his opinion, I'm saying that he should not be able to express his opinion on, let's say, the 4-letter network or the 3-letter network or all these other shows that are popping up. He should not be a guest on them to do his opinion. He should not be a guest to give his personal opinion on the situation if it does not matter to what he does for a living, which is a basketball analyst or a columnist or whatever. Because to be perfectly honest with you, there are things, sometimes you have to separate church and state. It is what it is. I think it's okay that he has an opinion. However, for him to go if he goes on outside the lines and expresses his opinion, I think that is a very not rude, but disrespectful use of the power that he could possibly command. And at that point in time, something should be done. Now, whether he's suspended or whatever, I mean, you had one person who called RG3 last year some derogatory name. He got suspended for a month. I just think that Chris Broussard shouldn't be suspended unless he goes onto air talking about his beliefs. His job is not to spread his beliefs. His job is to do his job. If it's basketball related, he does his job. Hey, are they going to sign Dwight Howard? Yes. He needs to talk about that. What's going to happen with Kobe? Because he's going to be down for a year. Yes, he needs to talk about that. How he feels about gay people in general or just gay basketball players? No, that has nothing to do with his job. And I really hope ESPN can actually keep this dude from doing stupid things to himself such as that. It is cool for having an opinion. However, he should not use his platform as a columnist or his platform as a sports person on air to do that with. Once again, the man has an opinion. What I feel about it is what it is. He has an opinion. He can express it, just not where he works at on television. It's Big Rube. It's a smash. See y'all next week.
Hey, no have Steppin with Marcus J. Big Rube in the smash. We appreciate it. Thank you so much for your smash, and I do definitely have an opinion on it, but I'll definitely hold on to it because following a rant is definitely not the place for it. But definitely good stuff. So had a good show tonight. I want to go ahead and get through the thank yous. I want to thank everybody for listening and thank Larry for calling in. Thanks, Ed, for commenting on the MixLR page. We had a bunch of people listening to us tonight. Saw the lights on down in College Park. Georgia, Atlanta. Saw the lights on in Baltimore. Definitely saw the lights on in Richmond, Virginia, and Jersey City. And I've seen some people out in the West Coast in California. We saw some lights on out there as well. So we definitely growing, expanding. LegacyInternetRadio.com broadcast live from the dead every Monday night from 7 to 9 with Ain't No Half Steppin' with Marcus J. Every Tuesday night from 7 to 9 and live in radio hosted by Steven Sykes. And then on Wednesday, you've got the Green Room version 2.0 with Jay Grizzy and Lissa P. Also from 7 to 9. You can listen to Ain't No Half Steppin' with Marcus J and live in radio, as well as the Green Room version 2.0 on your smartphone by downloading the Winamp app. Go into Shoutcast and search Legacy Internet Radio. You definitely do that while we're broadcasting live and save it, and you can listen to us mobile. You can continue listening to us on your computer at legacyinternetradio.com. You can find us on Loud City, which is also, I believe, available on your cell phone, but stick to the Winamp on your cell phone, as well as MixLR. So there's a variety of ways that you can get in contact with us and listen to our show. We definitely post all our shows on MixLR. So if you missed any portion of the show, you want to go back and you want to listen to something, we're on MixLR. So definitely hit us there, as well as on YouTube. So if you search us, Ain't No Half Steppin' with Marcus J on YouTube, you'll find pretty much every show we've done for the last 6, 8, 9 months. So definitely lots of ways that you can be a part of the show. We appreciate it. I want to thank our sponsor as well, and anybody who had anything to do with the show Ain't No Half Steppin' with Marcus J. We appreciate it. We definitely want to thank S.Y. Butler. She's hitting us up by saying one of the things that gets on her nerves is bad breath. Comment, I'm getting it a little bit late, but that's why Butler, of course, we're definitely glad to have her. She's a fan of the show. She listens every week. And so she says bad breath and poor grammar. Poor grammar makes her want to scream. So a lot of love to that lady right there, fan of the show and fan of LegacyInternetRadio.com, and we appreciate her support. It's time for me to go through and do my rant and my closing. So I appreciate you guys allowing me an opportunity to do that. Thank you so much. What I want to get into tonight, well, I guess I'll just say it. I'll just say it plain. I've always been a candid type of dude. I keep it real. What you see is what you get. I sometimes have a hard time with people who ain't like that. But as I get older, I learn that people are who they are, so let them be. You know, one thing that does kind of annoy me, though, is when people say one thing in front of you and say something completely different when you ain't around. Those people have a hard time just letting be. I like it when situations arise that allow people to have direct and frank conversations about their beliefs and what they know and their positions on issues and, you know, things of that sort. You know, a lot of times people say we shouldn't talk about religion. We shouldn't talk about politics and things of that sort. And one thing that people say that we shouldn't talk about is race relations. Well, that's what I want to talk about here, race relations. And real talk, people front when it comes to race relations. They say what they deem to be politically correct at the time, depending on who their audience is. You see it with folks using derogatory terms, you know, to describe other races when they feel comfortable with their own. You see it with folks whispering conversations about race when folks of a different race are nearby. Black folks speaking in a firm and confident voice, but when they utter the phrase white people, they whisper it as if it's a slur to acknowledge people of a different race. We see it with middle-aged white folk apologizing for saying black people because African American is the new politically correct way to go. You have some who come right out with it, though, y'all, but then try to front. Like the white woman from Michigan we spoke of earlier who called her colleague an arrogant N-word, but justifies her misstep by saying she had Thanksgiving dinner with blacks. Or blacks who call white folks devils behind their back but show up at work at white-owned companies on time every day and the first one to bring a dish for potluck. Seriously, y'all. But then they want to be offended when called out for fronting or showing racist tendencies. Calling out the offended for being offended by you. As Bill Clinton once said, it takes a lot of brass to call someone out for doing what you did. But if you know me, you know I ain't scared to talk about race. And if you can't say it in front of everybody, then you probably shouldn't be saying it. Don't be a fraud. if I have issues with folks who say crazy stuff, then hey, it is what it is. But my real issue with folks is when they be faking. If you white and you think blacks are the N-word, then stand by it and don't be changing when someone hears you say it. If you black and you think white folks is devils, don't be smiling in their face at work, then leading the march toward hatred on the weekends. As for this discussion, I enjoy it because I believe we have more in common as a people than what really separates us. And many people are feeling more and more comfortable expressing their hatred, differences, especially since the Obamas moved into the White House. And some people will say that we live in a post-racial world. Some of us are, but sadly, many still are not. And I've seen everything from white folk posted on Twitter using the N-word to some of them outright hoping for the assassination of their own president. And we ain't no better, white folk, black folk. I mean, we ain't no better. I see us posting Photoshop images of our own president in positions beneath the office. Like the photo of the president with gold chains, holding stacks in both hands with gold fronts. You can't get mad at white people for disrespecting you when you like a picture of your own president, the black president, on Facebook, you know, photoshopped on the body of somebody with a middle finger up with a vulgar caption. And can someone tell me why we get so mad at white folk using the N-word, then turn around to our friend and say, hey, yo, my N, did you hear what this white person just said? That to me is the definition of hypocrisy. You're not taking the word back. You're not taking the power back. You ain't doing none of that stuff. All you're doing is perpetuating self-hatred, plain and simple. Someone asked me one day if I voted for Barack Obama because he was black. I said, yeah, of course I voted for him because he was black. But I didn't vote for Herman Cain, and I wouldn't have voted for Clarence Thomas. And they black too. Honestly, we live in a land where we know black men get pulled over because we black, discriminated at work because we black, and are intellectually marginalized because we are black. So what's the harm of voting for a man because he's black when we know that some people voted against him? Why? Because he's black. I think there's a strong racist feeling on both sides, black and white. And for those who are racially tolerant, it may be difficult or even painful to acknowledge. But those who harbor feelings of superiority can become incensed by their feelings of entitlement, and to see that those they deem are inferior ascend to high places, and in this case, as the President of the United States, it awakens that vitriolic side that lay dormant. Dormant, of course, suggests it was always there, and for some it has. And also, real talk, they bark louder than those of us who see differences as a plus. But the real irony is the poor is the new racism and slavery. And as soon as poor whites and poor blacks realize they got more in common than they do with their rich cousins of the same race, only then can we continue, or in reality, begin healing. That's the Murr. Marcus's unrelated rant that ain't got nothing to do with what we in here talking about tonight. It's the end of the show. Appreciate everybody for staying in there with us. Remember, independence is the key to building your legacy. I want to say peace to all the stars and all the squares and the abundance of water. The fool is thirsty. Those are the words of Bob Marley. Stay tuned tomorrow night, 7 p.m. in Live and Radio with Stephen Sykes, and on Wednesday, the Green Room version 2.0 with Jay Grizzy and Lissa P. Ain't no half stepping with Marcus Jack. Be back next week, 7 to 9. Peace.